Hello and welcome to the follow-up video to SNOMED Beginner's Guide entitled Using the SNOMED Browser Visualization, Verification and Validation. This is a part of the ongoing Vidya Episteme Sapientia Data to Wisdom lecture series that I am providing through this channel, whose name signifies knowledge about connected health in Sanskrit, Greek and Latin, and I am your host Suman Bhushan Bhattacharya. The topic of this video is going to be using the SNOMED browser. This is a wonderful single tool for anyone interested in or working with or just revising the meaning of a wide range of healthcare terms. I will be providing an overview of how to use it first with the term that was the discussion topic of the previous video, cholecystitis. This I shall demonstrate using screenshots. Following that, I shall be doing a real-time demonstration of the browser itself using the term cholecystectomy. First off though, here's a quick recap of the previous video to help refresh the salient points made there. SNOMED is a controlled medical vocabulary that uniquely codes, that is, identifies the unique meaning behind a term. The terms covered range from abscess to zygote, signifying the entire range of healthcare relevant terms. To make it human understandable, a human readable description is assigned to it that explains the meaning in a simple manner. This description is called fully specified name, or FSN for short. This is distinguishable by the presence as a suffix of the semantic tag enclosed in parentheses, which represents the domain of the concept that helps in disambiguating it from homonyms, acronyms, etc. Each unique meaning is assigned a unique machine processable identifier that has a check digit for integrity check by the machine on its own. The meaning is a machine processable and machine interpretable information model. The relationships that make up the meaning is what makes all the SNOMED magic happen. The term's meaning is an information model based as a set of interrelated relationships that are encoded using pre-existing concepts. This results in the entire meaning to be machine processable, with even the attribute and values having their concepts defined as machine processable meanings. Since these pre-exist and these are used to encode the various relationships, it makes the entire meaning and each part thereof machine processable and machine interpretable. The definition consists of at least one is a subtype relationship and none to many attribute relationships. These relationships makes it possible to focus precisely on a concept or a group of them. Let us now see how the term cholecystitis is handled in SNOMED through the online SNOMED browser made available for free by SNOMED International. I will demonstrate this using a set of screenshots, as I said earlier, of the browser. I have taken this approach to ensure that I am able to demonstrate all that anyone can expect to see when visiting the website and working with it from the very first time. The URL that you need to use to get to the website is given in the right side. In this video, we will work with just the summary details. The browser deals with many other things. I plan to address all of them in due course over a number of videos later. Using the URL to visit the website, you will most likely see this first. The dialog box deals with third-party cookie use. You may choose to reject or accept as you wish. Once you have made the choice, you are presented with this view. The dialog box is about the license agreement for the browser use. You must click the accept on the green button. Clicking the red will make you quit the website. Once you do that, you will find yourself being presented with this view. This is the browser home page, not the browser itself. Now let's study the top banner. You need to ensure that the green button with the legend release is International Edition, and the one with the version has the date of the first of the month you are currently in when you are working with the browser. For example, I am doing this video in the month of June, hence the 1st of June date in ISO format is present here. SNOMED International has an official release at midnight GMT on the first day of every month. Hence, the date is 1st of June 2024 in ISO date format, as I said, because I am doing the video in June of 2024. So if you use the browser in July 2024, the date should be that of 1st July 2024. Remember to adjust to your local time zone vis-a-vis GMT. The blue button with the legend perspective should always be full. These three should ideally not be changed for most of your work. There are exceptions. I will demonstrate them in subsequent videos as we journey through the SNOMED universe together in due course. Now look at the blue buttons underneath the legend International Editions. Ignore all the other buttons and legends for now. Concentrate on the leftmost one with the legend Go Browsing International Edition, followed by a date in ISO format. It would be the same date as here. Actually, this is where you choose the date, and that defaults here unless you have chosen it deliberately or separately here. This button that is there with the downward arrow is where if you click it, you get a list of alternate dates, that is. This date is always that of the current release, so clicking on this always ensures that you access the latest released version. Clicking on this will take you to the browser itself. This is the view that you are presented with when you click on the blue button mentioned in the previous slide. I will be showing you this using the browser itself, not just the screenshots, later in this video. So stick around, another incentive for you to do so. There are two halves. The left half contains the search box that you need to use first to search for terms. For now, ignore the green buttons here. Ensure that the search tab is selected at the top. This is the second tab. So second tab. The right half contains details of the concept. Ensure that the concept details tab and under that the summary tab are selected. The blue button with the legend inferred should be selected, not the stated. The blue color denotes that this particular button has been selected and the white that it has not. Now double click on the SNOMED concept in the parent box immediately at the top of the blue box. So this one. If you do that, as is very noticeable, the SNOMED CT concept is now in the blue box. This box contains what is termed as the focal concept or the concept in focus. All the details relate to this concept, whichever the concept that is there in the blue box. The contents of this box are the FSN, the SCT ID, which is the concept ID identifier, also known as concept ID for short, the pre-coordinated expression representing the concept, the FSN again, and the synonyms associated with the concept. The box on the right is that to have or contain all the attribute relationships. So all the attribute relationships would be here, and they would be as name value pairs. Now the box on the top with the legend parents contain the supertype parents and ancestors of the concept with whom the concept in focus, the focal concept, is a subtype relationship. So the focal concept will have a subtype relationship with the parent and the parents of parent, the ancestors. The box at the bottom with the legend children followed by a number in parenthesis represents the number of children and subtype descendants the concept has. The greater than sign indicates that the particular concept has supertype or subtype concepts associated with it. So if you see this one over here, it means that it has supertype parents, and this one means it has subtype children. And the subtype children of children are of course the subtype descendants, and the supertype parent of parents are supertype ancestors. So basically this particular arrow is a button, which is an on-off type button. For the first time when you click it, it expands, and the second time you click it, it collapses. In this particular case, however, the focal concept, the concept of SNOMED CT itself, has no parents. This is the only concept amongst all SNOMED CT concepts that neither has any is a subtype relationship with any other concept nor any attribute relationships. This makes this concept the big daddy of all other concepts and is called the root concept, as it is the root of all concepts in SNOMED CT. The polyhierarchy that SNOMED CT is can be visualized as an inverted tree where the root concept is the root at the top representing the broadest concept, and the tip of the many branches the finest concept of a particular branch and its sub-branches. Note that SNOMED CT concept itself has a unique SCT ID of its own. It also has an FSN and synonyms. Note also that the semantic tag of this concept is a special one. This represents the historical origins of SNOMED CT, a combination of SNOMED RT with CTV3. So this plus means it is with or and. Let us look at the 19 children that this root concept has. So I have expanded this 19 children and made it fill the entire window so that it can be visualized better. As you can see, there are 19 subtype children of the root concept. They represent the 19 domains, also known as top level hierarchies, that the concepts numbering around 360,000 belong to. Roughly, this is the number for the June 2024 release. Some of these domains, so each of them is a domain, and some of these domains have subdomains of their own. Like for example, disorder is a subdomain under clinical finding. I plan to discuss some of these domains in some details later in other videos. So while we leave that aside, for now it is enough to know that the SNOMED concepts belong to more than 19 domains, quite a vast ocean as you can fathom for yourselves. So without further ado, let's go about studying the term cholecystitis as available in the SNOMED browser. To get to the term, any 3 consecutive characters need to be typed into the search box. The system is smart enough to immediately start searching by matching the entire characters with the more than 1 million terms that SNOMED has. It is always better to start typing in as many characters as possible so that a smaller and more manageable list of alternatives are presented for selection. Note that the search is not tolerant to typographical errors, so do take due care to avoid it. The lack of matching terms can be very frustrating at times. I speak from personal experience. Note here that I have typed in cholecysti. I have not put in full cholecystitis, just cholecysti. And the system presented me with the very term I was searching for. Once it is displayed, you need to double click it. So here it comes, you double click it, and you can even try and drag this. You have to drag, holding this yellow button, irrespective whether it has got something or not. Even if it is blank, you just click and drag, or you just press and drag if you are using a tablet. By the way, this browser is can be visualized on laptop, desktop, or a tablet, smartphone without any problem. So my personal experience has been that on tablets and mobile phones where there is a lack of cursors, it is easier to work with by pressing with the fingers. Whereas if you are working with on a laptop, it is much easier with the mouse, but then again it is something that you will need to figure out for yourself which works best for you. Now once you do that, you have to click over here and you have to drag it over there, or if you double click here, you will find the blue box will now contain the selected concept and all the related boxes: parents, children, attribute, relationships, plus itself, reflecting the respective details related to the concept in focus. So over here, cholecystitis with the FSN cholecystitis disorder is the concept in focus. Ensure that the inferred button is active, reflected by it having the color blue. Now that we have the desired concept in focus, let us study it in some details. So what I have done is, for the next slide, I have shifted this middle pane, so you can just drag it to your left. To enlarge the area, make the real estate fill the entire screen, thusly. Now in the blue box, the FSN of the concept cholecystitis is listed at the very top. For now, ignore the pale yellow circle with 3 lines. It has got some special meaning, but for that some more information is required, which I am yet to share with you. Again, another topic for a subsequent video. Below the FSN is the FSN followed by a colon and the concept identifier. So this is the concept identifier of cholecystitis. We can see that the number used in the previous video, SNOMED Beginner's Guide, is the same as this one. Below that is the concept's pre-coordinated expression. This is the concept identifier followed by a line separator, which is followed by the FSN, and then there is another line separator. So the pre-coordinated expression is the expression that identifies the meaning of cholecystitis in this case. Below the coordinated expression, you have the FSN to be repeated again. This is followed by 2 synonyms of the concept. As you can see, it's cholecystitis and inflamed gallbladder. So this one, you can say this is the FSN, this is the concept identifier, this is the pre-coordinated expression, and this one is where all the descriptions are there. Usually the first one is the FSN and the second one is the preferred term. If you recall from the previous video, out of all the synonyms, one of these will be designated as preferred and the others as acceptable. So over here, I can tell you that cholecystectomy is the preferred term in English, both the US and British versions. To the right of the blue box is the block box with the light blue border and white background. And this is where the attribute relationships are present in the format name, value. There's an arrow in between. There are two in this case. Now, if you recall again, the any term ending with itis means it is an inflammatory condition and having an inflammatory morphology. Now let us go back to the blue box. So here at the right edge of the blue box, you find there is a star. This is to mark a concept as a favorite. You can click it, and the clicking it once you will get it, it will change its icon, and if you again click it, it will again go back to this. The icon to its right is for use in copying the concept details. Clicking it will result in a pop-up to be revealed. Let us move to the next slide to see what it all contains. So there you are. As you can see over here, the pop-up box lists 5 options. Clicking on any one of them results in the item to be copied to memory. So you have concept ID, you have FSN just on their own, as over here. The third one is this one, FSN and concept ID. PT and concept ID is the preferred term with concept ID, and you can also copy a link to share. You can copy and share it, and anybody using that link to open up the page would get this particular window. They would not need to go through all the searching and the rest of it. This is a safe and easy way to copy paste that information. Trying to select anything from the blue box or any other place, in fact any other place you cannot even copy, but if you do try to do that over here, it is not easy, and it is also not advisable, as some of the stuff can be left out. Let us study the parents of the concept first. So although I have worked with both, this one single slide has both. Let us first look at the parents. There are 2. So the parents were disorder of gallbladder and cholangitis. Clicking the button to expand, we get disorder of biliary tract and gallbladder finding to be the parents of disorder of gallbladder. Cholangitis, doing the same thing for cholangitis, we get disorder of biliary tract, inflammation of specific body organs, and inflammatory disorder of digestive tract to be the 3 parents of cholangitis. Now these 3 and these 2 are the supertype parents of cholecystitis. Let us now study the children. There are 13. Note the number. There are 13. Some have greater than icon and some have dashes. The former means that those concepts have subtype children. The latter, the dashes, mean they do not have any child of their own, and therefore they are the finest representations possible of that branch and sub-branch. Now let's, for example, acute cholecystitis has angiocholecystitis as its child, which means angiocholecystitis is a subtype descendant of cholecystitis. We will now click the stated button. If you do that, this is the view we will get. You see over here, the cholecystitis is exactly the same. This particular box contents are exactly the same, except that it has now got a legend called axiom, which basically means that the attribute relationships that are here are axiomatic, that is given. You also see that there is just one parent of cholecystitis over here, and it is disease. and it has got one child, not 13 by the way, with the inferred relationships contained. This particular has only one child. So expanding all of them, the parents and the children, we find that disease, the parent of cholecystitis as its parent disease, the parent of clinical finding, parent of disease is clinical finding, and its parent is the root concept, the SNOMED CT concept itself, which makes both the root concept as well as the clinical finding concept the supertype ancestors of cholecystitis. For the children, cholecystitis without calculus has two children of its own: acute cholecystitis without calculus and chronic cholecystitis without calculus. Although these relationships are not as detailed as the inferred, it is simple enough to follow. Aggregating the concepts at various levels helps include all concepts that are subsumed by the concept that belongs to a particular level. For example, aggregating all diseases will result in the inclusion of the focal concept and all its children. So, if we were to ask for all the subtypes of clinical finding, it will pick up disease, cholecystitis, and cholecystitis without calculus, acute cholecystitis without calculus, and chronic cholecystitis without calculus, if we say that the relationship is stated. This is what it will pick up. We can also ask that give me all the subtypes of cholecystitis, and it will pick up these three. So you see, just one command, you will be able to get any of the list of other concepts. Just to let you know that this command can be executed in this particular tab, the contents of this tab, which is not going to be shown in this video, but is going to be a special topic, where I deal with something called expression constant language queries. See over here, it is written expression constant queries. So using those queries, we can get all these lists. The machine will find out. We can even ask for concepts to be listed using these relationships. So we can ask for give us all concepts which have finding site as gallbladder structure or subtypes of gallbladder structure. We can even ask for that, and it will pick up that list too. We can even ask give us a list of all diseases which have associated morphology as inflammatory morphology, and it would list that too. Now let us see how to work with the browser itself by visualizing the demo in real time. We shall work using the concept of the term cholecystectomy for this. Do bear with me as I move over to the browser itself. As you can see, we shall first ensure that we have got these release and versions correct and perspective, and we will click over here. So I will double click. There might be a little lag because it needs to fetch all this information from the terminology server, which is serving this particular the functionality of the browser. So we will first ensure that the search button is here. This one is the same, and this is where we need to type as many characters, consecutive characters as possible of the term cholecystectomy. So I'll just do that. Now I have only gone cholecyste, and you find cholecystectomy already listed at the top. So watch how this changes. I will do that. I could have also done like this. I have to do it over here. Just to show you, I will just change it, and I will drag and drop, and you see it does exactly the same. So what I'll do is, let me shift the middle divider to make it fill up the entire. This is something that I am doing it for this particular demonstration. You do not have to do this. In fact, I rarely do this because I need to frequently keep on looking for different terms, so it becomes quite tedious to keep on dragging the middle frame and resizing the windows. I don't like it. Now let us focus on the blue box. So the blue box now contains the focal concept, which is cholecystectomy. Now, if you will recall, just a couple of slides ago, I told you itis means that there is an inflammatory condition. It is an inflammatory condition. Any term which has got the word ectomy means it is a surgical procedure and the method is excision action. By the way, you can even drag this one over here and it will then show you the subtypes of that particular one, or not really only the subtypes, all the details of that particular I will show you later. So going through the steps, cholecystectomy has cholecystectomy procedure. This is the FSN, this is the concept identifier, this is the pre-coordinated expression, again the FSN is coming, and then we have got 4 synonyms. Cholecystectomy is the preferred term in US and British English. Excision of gallbladder, gallbladder excision, and removal of gallbladder, these 3 are acceptable terms in both the languages. Let us now look at the attribute relationships, the blue border and the white background. We have method as excision action and procedure site direct as gallbladder structure. Let us look at the parents. So clicking on operation on gallbladder, just we ensure that it is still inferred. We have got procedure on gallbladder and operation of biliary tract to be the parents of operation on gallbladder. And if you do the same thing for biliary tract excision, you get abdomen excision and operation on biliary tract to be the parents of the biliary tract excision. Now let us look at, so there are 8 children which are inferred, 8 children of cholecystectomy. Now I am going to leave it for you. You can do it by yourself. You can. I am just going to do a couple of them. The partial cholecystectomy has 3, and then we can go to the top one, and we see that it has got 2 children of its own. So these are like the supertype ancestors and these are the subtype descendants. Okay, let us do it for the stated, and we find that the biliary tract excision and operation on gallbladder were these parents as identified by the humans or stated by the human author of the concept definition. There is no change in the attribute relationships, and instead of 8 the person had listed 6. So I leave it to you to check it. Now just to demonstrate how you can drag and drop and see the other values, I'll go back to inferred, and once that is there, I'll just drag and drop this gallbladder structure. You will see gallbladder structure has its parents as biliary tract structure and structure of organ within abdomen proper cavity, and it's a body structure. So it has got 2 parents and 3 subtype children. This is inferred. So entire cystic duct, entire gallbladder body, and gallbladder part. So you see that you can use even the values within the attribute relationships. You can drag and drop them, and you can see its parents, children, and gallbladder structure has its own FSN, its own concept identifier, the pre-coordinated expression, the FSN again, and gallbladder structure is the preferred term, and gallbladder as well as gallbladder with a space and without a space as acceptable terms. The three are synonyms. So this brings us to the end of the demo in real time of the SNOMED browser. As you have seen for yourself, the browser is a single stop tool for anyone needing to check the details of a clinical term or learning how to use logic to derive the meaning of any term. Students of medicine, dentistry, nursing, allied healthcare sciences, professionals, or just the curious needing to quickly check on some healthcare terms can use this tool. Do note that the details available are those that are non-ambiguous, non-vague, and always necessarily true. All helpful for quick reference checks, even memorizing some stuff. Being logical and derived ab initio using logic. This makes this a great tool for learning how to logically derive the meanings of terms. In fact, anyone could try this little experiment themselves. They can try to define the meaning of a particular term, any term that they can think of. The rule is that it will always must necessarily be true. Try to do it logically and as simply as possible. Remember, one of them must be is a relationship, and that could just be that if it is a term related to a disease, it should be it is a disease. If it is like a clinical finding, you can say it is a clinical finding. If it is a procedure or a surgical procedure, you can even write a surgical procedure, no problem. Remember, if it is an investigation, it should be an evaluation procedure. You can even put in as procedure, no problem. And once you have that, just go back and check. You will be better off checking with the stated, because that is what as a human being you would normally like to see or expect to see. The inferred is obviously the one that is inferred, running the description logic reasoner classifier. One more important observation before I end this demo. The end users of systems that have SNOMED inside should have a similar experience. They should never see any codes or concept identifiers, any numbers. They must not see any numbers or even this. They must just work with terms, and that too as per their preference. There is a process by which personalized terms can be coded using SNOMED. That will be a focus of a forthcoming video on mapping local terms and codes. For those interested, there's another reason to stick around to this channel. I intend to have many videos on semantic interoperability, and I have just only begun. There's a vast ocean of knowledge, and I would definitely love to share that with you through videos. I'm sure you will not have failed to notice that in the entire summary that I showed you, there were only one number, the concept identifier that was displayed as I showed you. This should not be a surprise. The summary is for humans to read and work with and is not aimed at the machine. The SCT ID is made available only for reference purposes. In case you're wondering from where I got all those terms in different languages, you can do it yourself. So click on the down button, the down arrow button on the first green button on the top. You will get this list as displayed. The Spanish edition at the top indicates that it is an international edition. The other editions are local ones. Feel free to experiment around by looking at the synonyms of the terms in different languages, mostly European at the moment. So if I were to click on Spanish, let's see what we get presented with. Voila. This is the view you get if you choose the Spanish edition option from the list. As you can see, everything is in Spanish. However, the SCT ID has remained the same, that of clinical finding, because clinical finding was there in the previous slide. If you have viewed up to this point, I'm guessing you liked the video. If so, do like and share it. I will leave some terms in the description box below for you to practice on the browser yourself. Take your time in searching and then studying each concept in detail, perhaps even trying to find out the same terms in other languages. I plan to have a specially dedicated video to provide a demo in real time. Why don't you try searching for other medical terms? Do let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Leave them as comments and I will try addressing them in my subsequent videos. Next up, a LOINC beginner's guide. Interested? Why not subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to get notified when I do upload that. So, till the next time, I wish you my very best. Cheerio.